Hello YouTube, this is Brick, and today I'm covering a story from 4chan. I don't know if anyone else is covering it, but it's a developing case, and I thought it would make for an interesting video. I've decided to call this saga the COOManon saga, like QAnon, but the name will make sense later. Just so you know, I'll be swapping out some words, because you never know what kind of language YouTube will eventually choose to target. However, this story gets pretty disgusting towards the end, so if you don't want to hear anything horrible, you should probably click off. Now that that's out of the way, let's start. This 4chan user posted this story in 3 installments spanning over the past week. Apparently there were 2 posts before this one, but I couldn't find them. Here's the first installment. This is an update on my previous 2 posts from the last 4 days. 4 days ago, I farted into my coworker Marcy's water bottle when she wasn't in the room. When she came back and took a drink, she didn't seem to notice. It also appeared to be in distress the rest of the afternoon. I've been farting in her reusable drink bottle and in her Tupperware containers of food every day for well over a year. This is the first time I think she suspected something. Today I was called in to see my boss before work and informed there was actually a small camera on the shelf in the break room, which was set up several years ago to catch a former employee who was stealing people's lunches. I was fired on the spot, told that he had reviewed the footage as far back as last week and would be handing over the camera and its contents to the police, as Marcy was planning to press charges. It's effing over. Can I go to jail for this? I've never been in trouble with the police before, other than a speeding fine when I was 19. I'm 28 now. I'm starting to freak out. This was a few hours ago. I got straight in my car and drove out of town a few hours away, fully expecting to be arrested if I decide to return home. It was just farting. What are the penalties this could carry? Please help me, Anons. Okay, that was the first part. Remember, he said he was just farting. This seems like a pretty extreme reaction for just farting. Maybe he's up to something else. Let's read on. Part 2. Update on my previous posts. Day 5. Recap. I was caught on camera in my workplace farting and possibly doing other things to my coworker Marcy's lunch in her water bottle. Then 5 days ago, she caught on to me and alerted my boss, who then reviewed the footage and handed it to the authorities. I wouldn't normally include the recap, but it has an important detail. Yesterday, after I was fired, I fled work and drove several hours away and stayed in my car overnight and turned my phone off. This morning, when my parents left for work, I went back home and packed up most of my stuff. I've been ignoring all phone calls. I've had messages from my parents saying 2 police officers came to our door this afternoon asking for me. I don't know if my parents were told what I was wanted for, but I just messaged them back and told them I was safe and wouldn't be home for a while. I have my tent and a few other camping supplies. I'm an avid camper and outdoors person, so I have basically everything needed for survival. And I've bought some other supplies, probably enough for a week-long stay outdoors, and I'm currently driving to a location I've camped before that's pretty hard to find. B is the 4chan board this was posted on. I'm fairly certain the footage the police have by now will incriminate the hell out of me and more than likely land me in prison. Again, this is pretty extreme for just farting. I know that if I go back to face the music, this is going to be all over the news and social media. I'll be completely screwed. I may have to turn off my phone for a few days, as I don't really want to risk the police possibly tracking me down. Be honest, Anons. How screwed am I really? Is it truly over for me? Screw you, Marcy. You ruined my life. Pick related. My camp mug filled with chalky milk. So here's a picture of his chalky milk. That's an interesting word choice for a 28-year-old man, but, you know, who am I to judge? What's far more concerning is whatever he means by possibly doing other things to his coworker's lunch. Given that he thinks he's going to prison, I bet that he did a little more than just farting. Either way, there's one more installment to this story as of right now, so let's take a look at it. Here's part 3. Well, here we go, B. I have another update on my recent postings about my recent troubles at work involving my coworker Marcy. Recap. I was recently fired due to being caught on camera farting and ejaculating into my colleague Marcy's food and her water bottle in the employee break room. I've been doing this for over a year. Yeah. She's now pressing charges, and my manager handed over the footage to law enforcement. Some of you may know, since the incident came to light, I have been camping a couple hours away from my house in a secluded area I've been coming to for years. I've been avoiding using my car phone too much, as I didn't want to be tracked by any authorities. Through limited communication with a former colleague and my parents, I have learned that police are looking for me and charges have been filed. Now I face a difficult decision, B. Do I return to face the music even though it's fairly certain this will land me in prison and be plastered all over the news and social media? Or, the other option I have been considering, emptying my bank accounts, decent money, and attempting to get myself out of the country. I considered trying to set myself up somewhere off-grid in the wilderness, but the logistics of being able to make it work seem extremely hard. I don't want to go to jail, Anons, nor do I want this to be all over the news. Fleeing the country option seems the way to go, but I don't know. My family will be upset. I'm not sure if they know the extent of my crimes by now, but they soon will. Yeah, I think your family's probably going to be upset either way, Anon. You know, considering what you did. What do I do, Anons? This C word has surely destroyed my life now, all because of a few farts and some sperm. Which countries can I live in where I won't be bothered and can perhaps get away with not being a citizen? So that's it for now. Grammar in the third one, as I was writing the script, seemed worse than the first two. Now that I'm reading it again, I don't actually think the grammar has gotten worse. It's kind of hard to read. Like, all three parts are hard to read, so I think it's all the same person. For all we know, though, this whole saga could just be made up. Either way, Anon's actions probably constitute the type of assault YouTube doesn't want mentioned. So if this is real, it sounds like Anon is going to jail. I don't think he has the know-how to successfully flee the country. Hopefully he gets the punishment he deserves, because doing that to someone's food is really not cool. Looks like everyone's suspicions were correct, and he did a bit more than farting to his poor coworker's lunch. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, even if the content was a bit disgusting. I'll post an update if Anon ever decides to incriminate himself further with another 4chan post. Until then, have a good day, night, or whatever time you're watching. Goodbye. Recap. I was just